Welcome back.
Welcome to the podcast one more time.
How's it going, guys? How we doing today?
Sorry, I have ice in my mouth. So.
Oh, it's okay. I guess I'll talk. How are we doing today? I'm doing good.
Me too.
I'll answer my own question.
Talk to yourself for a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with myself. Let me think.
You've never had a conversation with yourself?
Not like a formal conversation. I talk to myself constantly in my head, but
everyone does.
I'm never like,
Not
hey,
like out loud.
yeah, that's not like a conversation. I'll talk to myself like, okay, I just need to do this and this and this, and then I can do this. It's not a formal conversation.
Yeah, but
though.
you don't go like, "Hey, Gabe, how are you doing?" Today?
It's typically dialogue. It's not, or typically monologue, not dialogue.
Yeah,
So,
I got you.
thank God for joining me in the conversation because I didn't know where to go. So what's new?
Not much is new. Besides the fact that I'm gonna go backpacking during summer, which is not new. Like I already knew this, but right now it's about a month and a half away. So we're starting to purchase most of the things that we're gonna need.
Cool.
It's expensive.
Yes, it
It's
is.
expensive. I didn't think that when I first decided that I wanted to get into backpacking with my girlfriend, I didn't think it would be so expensive.
Only initially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
It's
way I
like
look
most
at it, too.
sports, right?
Yeah,
The initial investment is expensive, but once you have that stuff, typically it lasts you a long time.
Yeah. That's the way I look at it too. It's gonna be most likely a one-time investment, at least for the next like foreseeable future, like few years.
Yeah.
And
Some of that
yeah.
stuff will last you decades.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not. Like
From
I know the
The backpacks, and
the
everything
sleeping
else.
bags typically you should get them changed like every 6 years, but like when I was in Boy Scouts, my scoutmaster, bro, as long as I was in Scouts, he had the same pair of shoes. Like 8 years, like 8, 9. As long as I knew
Whoa,
him in Scouts, he had,
I can't get my hiking shoes to last me more than 2 years. Like
Really?
they just get so beat up.
I
No, I do-
he
I do
hiked
hike
he hiked a
aggressively,
lot.
Yeah.
You have like no self preservation with your feet.
I mean, I just hike. I go out there,
I
go
guess,
on
yeah.
top of rocks, on top of just about everything. I'm constantly like sliding and stuff. I have
Guess
fun.
that's interesting.
I have fun when I go out there. But yeah, it's kind of expensive.
But that'll be cool to see after you do your trip.
I know. I can't wait to post those pictures on Instagram. Just all of the beautiful things I'm gonna see for 4 days. 4 days without a toilet.
You don't need a toilet. The world is our
The
toilet.
world is our toilet. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What about you? What's new?
I went to LA this past Monday. Kind of like a personal, not a mission trip, like a personal trip. I had an agenda. I wanted to go to like Mirate, which is like a really, really nice bar. Let me see
Mirate?
yeah. Let me see what their ranking is.
That sounds like another word that we know.
No, don't go there.
It took you a while. It took you a while to get that.
Don't go there. Okay. It's in. Doesn't say.
Oh no,
it's
it's called Mirate.
Mirate. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has an accent, a tilde.
Story home. I don't know. But it's like a top 50 bar, but it's also a restaurant, and the food was phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, you're in LA. The standard is much higher.
Of course,
out
yeah.
there.
But it's off Prospect in Melbourne. It's more like in.
There's like a bar in every corner. There's like a restaurant or a
Oh,
bar
bro,
in
it's
every corner
it's
in
enormous.
LA. Yeah. You do have like 14 million people living within the.
It's like East Hollywood. I was gonna say I kept thinking Silver Lake, but it's East Hollywood.
It's by the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah, so it's like
okay.
right under that. But it was very nice. Super cool. I'll put a couple pictures of like the view from my seat, and then I may post a picture of what we ate. Very good. We had some yuca and some plátanos.
I like
with
that.
ají amarillo.
Yep.
Bro, that was so good. It was actually really spicy too, which I loved. Because when restaurants make food spicy like that, that means you're not shy showing authenticity.
Yeah.
So they're gonna make it as authentic as possible, even though certain people may not like it. They don't care because a lot of places they turn the spice down on things so it caters to more people.
That's happened to me a few times. Like some restaurants, when they say the food's gonna be spicy, I'm like, nah, it's not.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it
on
is.
the rare
And when
occasion, it
it
is.
is really
Yeah.
freaking spicy that I can't even finish it.
After Mirate, I went to. Well, that wasn't the first thing I did that day. The first thing I did is I went to Community Goods, which if you know matcha, you know that's like the top. That's like the premier spot in LA. Is Community Goods. Waited about 40 minutes in line.
For community goods?
Yeah, and
For matcha.
Matcha, yeah, and the like. Honestly, it's like
I
it's as
could
big as
never.
our studio. That's how big that place is.
To So
But
it's
it was all
pretty
right.
small then. It's like a little
It's
hole in the
very
wall.
small,
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
small. Or it's almost like the size of the bar at Spaghetti Factory. That's
Okay.
like the
Oh,
like
so
not
it's
like
yeah, it's
not
like
like the
nice and
booths,
thin.
not like the booths in the back. Not
Oh,
including
okay,
those booths.
okay,
It's like
okay,
just
okay.
when you walk in, and like the booths that are there
Yeah, I got you. I
in
got
front
you.
of the bar top. That's about
It's
as
still
big as
pretty small. For,
yeah,
you know.
and that includes the kitchen where they're making
And
stuff.
you waited there for 40 minutes. You couldn't. You would have to pay me
Yeah.
to wait there for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
to try
yeah,
the
I know.
matcha.
Consumerist culture is huge amongst me and my friends, so we were gonna go with that. So,
There you go.
did a little bit of shopping and then ended the night at Death and Co. Which, if you know bars, you know cocktail bars, you know Death and Co. Death and Co. As I like to describe it, is the penultimate cocktail experience. It's like when you go there, they have perfected everything that contributes to the cocktail experience. And that includes engaging your five senses. So they want like the goal of this establishment is to make it all about the drinks. So when you go in there, it's very dimly lit. The only lights are coming that are coming in there are the candles that like the servers carry on their trays and like the small candles that you have on your tables. That's the only lights in there. It's very dim. Like I said, it's very dim in there. They have like slow, like just ambient music going around. You walk in, there's like a neutral-ish incense that's burning. All the drinks are just fantastic. They're pricey, so I didn't pay for a drink. I didn't pay less than $20 for a drink. Everything was $20 and up. So that made an expensive bar tab.
Yeah, I know.
But it was good. I mean, they were
yeah.
good drinks. And then the other thing too is I'm kind of a nerd about that stuff, so I love talking to these guys about all that stuff. Shout out Bailey, my server. He was pretty cool.
Bailey, if
yeah.
you're watching this, Gabe loves you.
I don't love you, but shout out Bailey. He did make my experience a little bit more special, and I always appreciative of that.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get served wherever you go in the restaurant industry by a person that actually knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Makes a huge difference when it comes to experience.
And that's the big thing there is like everybody at that facility, they're like all from top to bottom, they're educated on everything.
Yeah, everyone needs to be equally trained and have a very similar
And
amount of
because I asked him a
knowledge.
few questions about certain things, and he immediately knew what I was talking about, and it's like that's amazing.
Yeah, I wish more restaurants would do that. I mean, not to shit where I work, but like some of those servers don't know the difference between like Chardonnay and Chianti. It's like,
Oh please!
I know.
It's literally
like,
night
you
and
don't
day.
know the difference between red and white wine. It's just
Literally
I can't
night
help
and
you.
day.
You know, like there's only so much I can
Red
do.
and white, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
We'll attack restaurant culture in another episode.
Yeah, we should.
Maybe toxic restaurant culture,
Oh boy, yeah, that's
like the common kitchen and hostess pipeline.
yes, yes. Yeah, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that's a phenomenon that you can experience in multiple
Anywhere.
restaurants
Anywhere.
anywhere. Yeah. True. All right, should we get into the topic?
Yes. So when this episode airs, we are recording on today's the 6th. Today's the 5th, April 5th. When this episode goes live, it will be the 13th, I believe. 14th. The Masters will have just concluded. For those of you who do not know what the Masters is, it is possibly like the most important tournament in golf every year. It takes place in Augusta, Georgia, which is like 2 hours from Atlanta. I think 2 hours east of Atlanta. The South. The deep South, the rich South. So in golf, in professional golf, the PGA, there are 4 majors. And the majors are like the big 4 tournaments. There is the PGA Championship. There is the U.S. Open. There is the British Open, or the Scottish Open. The British Open, and then there's Augusta, or the Masters, and everybody loves the Masters. There's just a lot of history behind it, and it just feels special every year. They do a really good job marketing and stuff like that. I think what they do is they never sell out marketing rights ever to any exclusive like television company. It's always like public to watch.
So
like
I have a
cable.
question. Do they have people that go and watch this,
Yeah.
this like from the sidelines, sort of? From
Sure.
the-
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's another thing too. So with the Masters, you can't buy tickets.
So how do you?
So the way it works is from June 1st to June 20th, a lottery system opens up.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you enter your name into this lottery, And then usually around July, mid July, you find out whether you won or not. And then you're given the opportunity to buy tickets that range from like practice rounds on Wednesday or Thursday to weekend rounds to the final round on Sunday. And they're like kind of expensive tickets, but like there's so much history about this stuff that like just going is fun. Even if you're going to a practice round, which has less stakes and it's not as important, even just go to something like that is very fun because it's like now you're on these grounds that so many monumentous occasions have occurred, or so many monumental events have occurred on, and it's like you're kind of a part of history by going, you know? So one cool thing too is one thing they're very known for is their concession stand. They sell food so cheap. You get a sandwich for $1.50. You get a coffee for
Sort of
$1.
like when you go to the casino and they give you drinks because you're
Because you're spending money, yeah.
spending money.
Let me see if I can find it. Masters, okay. They already have it up for this year, so I know that this is, I believe, from last year. If it'll load, maybe. Egg salad sandwich, $1.50. Barbecue sandwich, $3.
That is super cheap.
Ham and cheese on rye,
Like
$3.
Gator beef jerky.
Blueberry muffin, $1.50. Soft drinks, $2. Iced tea, $2. Import beer, $5. Where else are you gonna get import beer for $5?
True.
Chips, $1.50. Yeah, so very, very cheap food. But that's to be expected. But also they make a crap load of money in other ways. So like I think they generate like $2 million an hour at the pro shop. At the pro shop, which is where you buy like souvenirs, so like polos,
that makes sense.
tees, whatever, golf balls. They generate $2 million an hour there.
Wow.
So they make a crap load of money doing
Well,
that.
it makes sense. Like I would assume that a majority of the people that assist to that event, it's higher socioeconomical level. Like they have no
Sure.
problem paying
Hey, yeah.
$150 for a golf
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. But
So
it makes sense.
that's just the history of the event itself. Now I'm going to get into the actual facility, like the club. So Augusta National is a private members club with about 150 members. It is nearly impossible to be there unless you go for the Masters. So there's 150 members. You can't go there unless you're with a member, and you're likely never going to play there, ever. Ever, like literally
Ever. Don't even think about it. Don't even dream about
typically,
it.
in the past, there's been presidents who've even had trouble getting in, or presidents of the United States that have had trouble getting in, and yeah, it's just very exclusive. So also some of the history goes, if you win the Masters, you're given a green jacket, and the thing is as long as for a year you can keep that green jacket with you, but after that year is up, you have to give it back to the clubhouse, and they hold on to it forever. So you win something, and then it's not even
does
yours.
that green jacket allow you to go into that place you were talking about?
Yeah. You can.
Nice.
So you can return whenever you want, as long as if you win the Masters, you can go there wherever you want, but you're not technically a member.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. It's just because you won.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep. So that's a little bit about Augusta. So that will have just happened. We will already know who won when this episode goes live. Hoping for Bryson DeChambeau.
I feel like that's where the real political business and all kinds of
There's politics in
of
golf.
money transfers go about.
Hoping Bryson DeChambeau pulls it out this year. He won the U.S. Open last year. He was pretty close with the Masters the year before, but I kind of like the guy because he's actually from here in Fresno. He went to Clovis East. His like home course was Dragonfly, which is like 20 minutes from here. A very long, very open course. And he's just a really funny guy, honestly. He's a really good personality on YouTube. He's grown the game a lot, which is what we're going to get into. So I wrote this paper kind of as a joke, but it actually has really, really good points. So my paper is on golf and its positive impact on society. So first off, we want to talk about like how golf kind of grew and came to be. As I was mentioning, golf has grown in like the past 20, 30 years. And there's two main factors with that, and that its increased presence on digital media and the sport's general approachability to the common folk. And so golf dates back to the 15th century and it was played by upper class gentlemen on the eastern coast of Scotland. Many people from all different backgrounds play the sport globally now because of its positive health effects as well as how rewarding the sport can be. Due to the nature of digital media in all of its forms, golf's many positive effects have been made well known and have led to many people buying their first set of clubs. Specifically, in the last 6 years, social media has led to certain personalities excelling on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and even TikTok, which in turn leads to people having an easier time drawing similarities to the faces they become used to seeing. Hence, this leads to more and more people picking up the sport. Good Lord. It's still early. I can't stop stuttering.
Yeah, so it's becoming more broadly available for the regular person.
Yeah, and that's just one of the the strengths of social media is like people popularize certain things that may have not been popular previously, and it makes it easier to get into. It makes knowledge on the topic more well known, and that's one of the really strong things about social media that I like.
Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be just another trend where people get into golf for a while and then it just kind of goes back to
Maybe,
regular, or
maybe.
maybe we'll stay and stick, I guess.
The good thing with golf, right, is the technology is all roughly the same the last 15 years or so. Um, the innovation isn't really like groundbreaking right now. So if you buy a set of clubs within the last 10 years, the clubs can service you for at least the next 20. Like you'll be fine. Even if you got into it 2 years ago and you drop it, you don't have the money, you don't have the time, but in 10 years you do, you can use the same clubs. You don't even need to buy anything new because you just go back into that, pick up a set and go back to the range and try to practice again.
It hasn't really changed much.
Yeah.
I mean, what can really change about golf clubs? I mean, like weight distribution, shape, materials.
One of the big things is materials and not weight distribution. One of the big things is materials. So like they're testing new metals to see how they react with golf balls. They're also testing on launch angles are a big thing too. So like a more forgiving club will be heavier with like softer metal.
Yeah.
And it'll have stronger angles, which means like it'll be more like that. So it'll launch lower, but it'll go farther naturally. So.
Okay. So yeah, the angle at which, I got you.
So that's pretty cool. So like I was mentioning, social media is huge. I mean, I follow a couple personalities on social media, ranging from like, silly, goofy guys going out and joking around on the golf course to like people trying to get their professional cards and go on tour. They're like 26, 28, coming out of college, being like college golfers and just on that grind. So there's like two sides to the spectrum of like serious hardcore golf to like people seeing it as a vice and a way to connect with their friends and have fun. So on to my next point, the general approachability of golf. For most people, golf has been known to them as a higher socioeconomic class sport or something for the ultra wealthy only. And that's just no longer the case. Many individuals who play golf are just not what you would normally expect. For example, from my personal experience, during a round, occasionally I'll be paired up with other singles or duos to better format squads and help maintain pace of play. And at times you will meet lawyers or realtors and other businessmen. On the other hand, there are times where you come across a retired father and his son who just got back from college and is currently on the job market, or another broke college student just trying to get by and scrape some extra money together for the round. And this is exactly what the sport does, which many others do not, is the manner in which so many people can play no matter your background. Calabasas Country Club, now I'm citing or paraphrasing, explains that many people love the addicting nature of golf because not only can it be challenging physically, but much more so mentally. The ability to hit good shots is not uncommon. However, the ability to recover from bad shots mentally and to not let your mind cloud your judgment or influence your next shot is a skill many golfers do not have and may never fully develop. So that's one thing that
mental control and
mental
keeping
control.
your mental clarity.
One of the like I talk about things like this often, but one of my favorite I don't know if it'd be considered a personality trait as much as like a characteristic of somebody, but like I think resilience is one of the best things that someone can have. Like having a strong sense of resilience, because resilience is like your ability to be faced with a problem and typically like fail or like struggle, but not let that bring you down. And that's not like being like narcissistic or egotistical. It's like accepting that you failed or accepting that you came short, and you know,
Well, I feel
coming
like
back with
it's
the same
about not
enthusiasm.
allowing your failures to define you and
Yeah.
your further possibility of winning or succeeding.
Yeah, and that's a big thing with golf is that it's so tricky because everybody thinks that it's so easy, and then you step in front of a ball, and all of a sudden you kind of try your swing, and then you don't hit the ball the
You
first time,
suck.
and you suck. Yeah, and it's so funny because most other sports you are playing with an object that is typically moving, and now you're setting up to a golf ball which is stationary, and there's so many different things that can influence how this ball flies, right? So, like, you can hit a ball one time, and then you can hit a ball the next time, and you're not going to get the same outcome. Like, I guarantee you, you're not going to get the same outcome.
Yeah, I feel like distance
'Cause there's so
plays
many
a
different
huge
factors.
in distance plays a huge role. Like the
Yeah.
fact that you're shooting at such a long distance that really makes the like statistically it would make the range of possibilities much bigger.
Yeah.
Just by shooting at a at a
So as you get
bigger
into
distance.
golf more, what they tell you is not like you're told to not like have a range of like a target range of where you want to hit. They tell you like aim for misses, like or I don't remember exactly how the phrase goes, but like calculating your misses is like as opposed to like aiming for a spot, you aim for a spot and you try to keep your miss area within the range where you want to hit.
So it's about like precision and not accuracy, right?
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
accuracy is like if you're shooting all in the center, but precision is like it doesn't matter where you shoot as long as you're shooting there constantly.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
So like yeah, and that's what you'll see is like when people start playing golf, like their spray is like that. Like they're gonna hit balls everywhere.
Yeah.
But the better you get at golf, your spray like shrinks up a little bit, and then when you get really really good, like your range of accurate, like your range is gonna be much smaller. Your spray, I don't remember what the other word's called.
For what?
Like your area of like shots.
The range?
No. Your grouping will be smaller the better you get. So like
Yeah.
there's some professionals that go out and hit balls, will go out and hit 8 balls. All of their 8 balls will be within like 10 feet of each other. You know how impressive this is? Like 10 feet is right here.
Yeah.
That's our table right here. All of their balls will be within like a 10 by 10 foot space.
And at that distance, it's
At like 100 yards away, that's crazy, you know? So yeah, that's pretty cool. Resilience is a very big thing. On to the next point.
The way I look at golf is it'd be fun to play, but I could never play golf during summer or during the hot
Not
season.
here, yeah. In Fresno, it's
yeah.
brutal. I have been out a couple rounds where it gets up to like 103,
Oh,
and it's
no.
hard. It's like it's
Yeah,
really
I mean, the
really
heat
hard.
literally just it clouds your performance.
Yes,
Let's put it
with
that
me
way.
especially because I'm so I'm still pretty light, and I have like lighter eyes, which typically the sun is harsher on lighter eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I get so frustrated. Like I'll be doing really really well. I hit one bad shot, and then I really feel the sun, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
pull myself together, please.
too much. It's too hot. It's too hot during summer.
But that is one of the very important things too.
How do
Is
people play golf in Florida or Georgia for that matter? You know, Georgia also tends to stay hot and humid.
well,
throughout
that's why
most of the year.
there's like spring is the
Yeah,
optimal
spring is
season
the
for
per-
golf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's one of the big things is like your mentality with golf, right? Like how resilient can you be? How trained can your mind be? So it is very important to keep your mind sharp, especially as you get older. But golf also provides many physical health benefits as well. WebMD even credits golf to better improve cardiovascular health as well as lung health. On average, after playing and walking a full 18-hole round of golf, one has completed anywhere from 4 to 6 miles of walking. Research from Scandinavia also studies over 300,000 participants and showed that those who regularly played golf lived an average of 5 years longer than their non-golfing counterparts. The same study also showed that golfers also have a 40% lower mortality rate as opposed to non-golfers. Other positive health benefits can include reduced stress due to proximity in nature and physical activity, heightened social interactions of those with similar interests, and an exceptional way to stay in touch with friends, and one achieves a sense of accomplishment with improvement. All of these can attribute to many more people getting into the sport recreationally, and has allowed for many friendships to form
Yeah,
across the
it
world.
gives a really good sense of purpose, which is getting better at the sport while actually enjoying what you're doing with friends and family, and socializing, and while staying active.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it hits sort of like what a lot of other sports
do,
in general, exercise sports would do,
but one of the
without the possibility of injuring yourself. I
Yeah.
don't know how common injuries are in golf, but I do not imagine that people constantly injure
Very
themselves
unusual.
playing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
how do you? I'm sure there are, but yeah, it's not as likely to happen as if you're playing soccer. I don't know, riding a bicycle, running, all of these other exercises that require more impact.
So I have some experience working at a country club here in Fresno, and when I tell you that like every Saturday that I would work there, the like 75, 80-year-old dudes were the first ones out there at 6 a.m. playing,
Yes.
and then they're done before like 10:30. And then they're just hanging out in the clubhouse for like 3 hours, just talking and snacking and eating and like gambling or whatever.
Like,
Playing
what
cards.
else do you do? What else?
Yeah,
do you
what
do?
else? I mean,
What
they're
else do
not
you do?
working,
You're retired, you
But
have
like,
money.
the thing is like they woke up and the first thing they did is walk 4 miles, 4 to 6 miles, and then they're eating their snack, and in reality they're probably going to be asleep for like 8 p.m. If
Yeah,
that,
you
they're
bet,
they're
you
more
bet.
likely like typically like 6, and that's a big thing. Is like, and then I talked to them a few times. They're like, oh yeah, we've been playing for 20 years. I've known this guy for 40 years, and it's like, wow, like had it not been for golf, had it not been for this context, they probably wouldn't even be friends anymore. They may not even know
Well,
each other.
and
They may not even be
also-
alive.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it comes to life expectancy, it's not just being active while you're young, but it's actually staying active throughout your whole life.
Yeah,
What
these
actually
guys were in
keeps
good shape
what actually
too.
keeps you alive.
Like they weren't like they weren't buff or huge or anything, but like you look at their calves are huge.
I will say though, this is also a thing that I've seen a lot in California,
Uh-huh.
and like as well as Washington State. It's sort of like a stereotype, but older people here actually remain pretty active.
Yeah.
I'm not, don't quote me on that. This is not a statistic that I'm coming up. It's just based on what I've seen. Like while I hike, while I ride my bicycle, while I do all of these things, I tend to see a lot of older people staying active.
Good areas to like be active because
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of national
California. Yeah,
parks
there's a lot
and
of
stuff like
national
that.
parks,
Weather's
yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, last time I went to Kings Canyon with my girlfriend, we saw this lady. She was like super wrinkly, like really old lady. She was probably in her late 70s, like beginning her 80s. She was jumping into the cold water
Oh,
from a
crap.
rock. Like Melissa and I were diving from that rock, and it's a pretty good distance. I would say it's probably like over 6 to 7 foot drop.
Oh, I think you say 60 to 70.
No,
I was like,
that's
whoa.
insane. That's insane. But yeah, I mean, this really old lady, really cold river too.
Yeah.
Like it was cold for me, and she was jumping just like normal.
Yeah.
She had a truck, and she slept in her truck. Like I was like, I want to be like you when I grow up. you know?
Yeah.
I want to be like you when I age. So cool, and like that, you see a lot of people that stay active, live better lives, and live longer.
She probably has a crazy story of life.
No, she does. I'm sure she's backpacked like half of California,
Yeah.
at least throughout her lifetime. That's so amazing.
So that goes to show you like the longer you stay active.
It is. It is the longer you stay active. Indeed, that's what we're meant to do, and that's one of the things that golf still brings to people in their older age. I will say when you're young, there are perhaps better ways to stay active, a little more like engaging with your body. But as you age,
Yeah.
golf is perhaps one of the best ways to stay
Yeah.
active.
It's good the thing is it's good to have golf in the back pocket, if you will, like as a sport that you can do.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you'll find out more people
Well,
do it.
and I will say that you can't just start playing golf once you hit your 60s. You're never
Yeah.
going to be as good,
Yeah,
The
because-
reason why those 80-year-olds that you met are
Because they've
so
been doing
good
it
at
for so long. It does
Exactly.
require a level of mobility, like spine mobility and spine strength or core strength, because like those like after a round of golf, I get tired. Like my back is tired just from the twisting because
Yeah.
well, I have a little bit more. I'm younger, so when I'm going into shots, I go in with a little bit more speed, just because I like to generate more power. So there's a couple times where I go out and play with my buddies, and like we all tee off, and we get really lucky, and all of us will hit the ball like 280 yards. But that's because one of us is like 6 foot, and he's like 175. and he's like really lean and really strong. So and he's long, so he naturally generates that length. I'm
Yeah.
5'8". I have quads the size of like my torso almost. But I'm shorter. But I generate that power just naturally. And that like I remember that one time we did that. That was just like a really smooth swing for me. The other guy is like 6'2". He's like 250. And he like he's got monkey arms. They're just so long, and he just like nice and easy swing. So like, there are people from different backgrounds and different body phenotypes, and we're all generating 280-yard drives. So it just goes to show you that like we're younger and we can do that, but when you're older, you'll see people that are like 80. They can't really twist and turn that much. But when I tell you, I've seen some 80-year-olds hit the ball like 180, 200 yards, but it's dead straight.
I would want to see
like a frozen rope. It's just
the technique. I would want to see the spine or back flexibility or perhaps range of motion of older golf players versus the regular non-golf player at that age.
It's probably.
Like I'm sure there has to be a study that has assessed the difference in like spine mobility between golf players and regular people.
Yeah, because I know that like back issues are a common thing because just the stress
Especially as
over
you
your
age.
life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as you get older, and it's really with golf. It's really just rotating, which is a common thing already. So if anything, it just strengthens you already.
But is it really?
It's a big
is it
erector
really a
thing.
normal thing? Like, are you constantly rotating your
turning?
back?
You do turn typically
in golf,
but
yeah,
like the degree of turning, like
into the strength that you're doing it.
When you golf, you do like when I play, like I open up like I don't even like not 90 degrees. I open up a little bit more than 90.
Yeah.
And then when you finish, you're almost back at 90.
But see, do you do that motion doing anything else in your life?
No,
You,
I guess
that's
not.
exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what
I
I'm
mean, I
talking
do
about.
turn, but not to that extent.
That range, that like
I got a cramp. Sorry, it's early.
that
It's
range
early.
of motion is not something you would hit.
No,
or
yeah.
like the regular person would on purpose try to hit.
But if you're doing,
Multiple times.
other physical activities at our age, it is not
I would say
uncommon that you would hit that
maybe
level.
baseball,
of
you
rotation.
probably hit that level for sure.
Yeah, baseball.
Playing baseball.
Because it's pretty similar. In maybe like mixed martial arts
For sure, yeah.
or other fighting sports, you could rotate like depending on like how you need to
wrestling
move,
you for
whatever.
sure do a
You
lot
need
of
body
rotation.
control. Swimming, you kind of do because when you swim, you have to rotate your spine to like
Yeah.
I know there's like an optimal way.
Swimming
to
is
swim.
also swimming is also. I mean, I'd say when it comes to the tier of healthy sports, swimming is
Swimming is really good.
swimming
Too.
is the healthiest
Yeah.
sport a person can play as it engages your whole body.
Yeah, it's hard.
And it's very, very low on injury unless you're
I agree.
diving from a distance.
Well,
or something.
even athletes that are recovering from injuries, what they do is they put them in pools
Yeah,
to work their
exactly.
legs or work their arms because it's not quite
Less impact on the
less
water.
less impact. But other sports, like if you're playing football, like there are times where you're in some freak angles and freak positions, just like that you get into, like professionals that you get into, because that you have to be strong in those positions. Like I've seen when I played football. I remember as we were seniors, there was one time where what we were taught is to be on our knees, like on
Freak
one
angles.
knee, like we had to be strong on one knee and like be able to like push or withstand somebody pushing on you, because you don't want to be pushed back. You want to like stuff up areas, and it's like, in what other freaking sport are you being
know.
taught to do that? You know?
Yeah, I know.
And so that just goes to show you that like when you're young, you get away with stuff like that, but when you're older and you're golfing, you don't have to do stuff like that, and that's why golf is so easy to return to when you're older, because there's low risk of injury, but there's a high reward for good health. You know.
So you already know, guys. If you want to hit those freaky angles, you gotta get into football.
Okay. All right.
That's what I got out of that sentence.
I'm glad you got that. Okay. So on to my next point, which is golf in media. So the presence of golf in the media, specifically on social media, has boomed in the last decade. This is due to the general idea that more people are joining more and more forms of media, along with golf being easier to publish and it being more noticeable to the general public. Popular social media content creators in this field look more and more like us, and with that bridges the gap we once knew in golf. For example, on one end of the spectrum, you have who I just mentioned, two-time major tournament champion Bryson DeChambeau, a Clovis East graduate, which Clovis East is like a kind of a ways from here, but
That's
Clovis
the
West is like
country
5 minutes
boy,
away.
country boy town.
Yeah. Has been making content for around 6 years and documents his journey as a professional golfer in a way never seen before. He shows his emotional side on the course and is able to really show his personality in his videos and has drawn over 1 million followers on YouTube recently. I made this paper in like September or something like that. So it was back then when he just hit over 1 million. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have channels like Good, which their channel description reads 6 dudes, 1 golf channel. And their page is very much 6 men in their mid-20s that play golf at an above average level or average level if you had just started watching them when they just opened up. However, what makes this channel stand out over others are their personalities and emotions displayed on video. All of this is in an exemplary manner that shows the online community that has developed over time to further expand the game of golf. So I do want to go in a little bit about Good because you can look up information on Bryson DeChambeau.
So we're seeing a transition. I guess if you look at it from a sociological perspective, you're seeing a transition of people that play golf in the past or that have played golf being, higher socioeconomical level. But now we're seeing that there is a big change into the demographics that play golf, right?
So I guess there's only 5 of them now, but I think
the way I'm seeing it, golf is, and don't quote me on this, but golf is kind of an institution because it has its rules, and not only does it have sport rules, but it also has social rules of playing golf.
Yeah.
And you have a certain demographic that will, abide and play by those rules. It's a whole thing, right?
Yeah,
you have spoken and non-spoken rules of
Exactly.
the sport. And the sport also changes as we change, and now it's very broad for everyone.
One of the big unspoken rules in golf is I guess this is kind of spoken, not spoken, but it's written. It's there's a certain way to dress, and I kind of wore fitting clothes. I wore my nice mint vintage Disney polo that I thrifted, but there's spoken and unspoken rules, like you said. There's a certain way to dress when you go to play golf, but there's also unspoken rules that you kind of just learn as you play golf. So one of the big things is when you're on a tee box and you're getting ready to tee off with your driver, with your big stick, what is not told, but you figure out is you don't speak while other people are hitting. You don't talk. You don't make any noise. And it's you don't find this out until you either get in trouble for speaking or get in trouble for making noise, or you figure it out on your own. And for me, what it was is I think I was just talking to my buddy one day, and somebody else was teeing off, and he's like, "Okay, shh." And I was like, "Why?" What? He's like, "He's teeing off." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And you just you wait, and then think, they hit their ball, and it's like, "Okay, what were you saying?" And it's like, oh, "Okay," and then you continue, and that's how you figure it out. Yeah, and there's other rules there's other rules where there's tricky rules, tricky ones where when you're playing with people, a way to slow pace a play down is you go hit your ball here. And then you go to the other ball, and you go hit the other ball. But in reality, what you do is you drop off your buddy here, they hit their ball, and then you go over to you, or they hit their ball, they get another club, they walk, and you go to yours, you hit, and then you pick them up on your way there. That saves a little bit of time. Yeah, that's an unspoken rule.
Yeah, but that's efficiency within
efficiency,
the sport.
But some people just don't get that one. Oh my goodness! I was playing around one time in Temecula, which is in Southern California. I'm not even kidding. We were behind 4 dudes. It took them 13 shots to get 200 yards. I was like, "Holy cow, bro!"
So annoying.
But yeah, back to what I was saying. These good guys, there's 5 of them now. Initially, it was 6. I think one branched off and made his own page. But their YouTube thumbnails are so bright and stuff like that. And but these guys have had the opportunity to play some really good courses. They make some really funny content. And they have opportunities now because they have such a platform to reach out. They have merch and stuff like that. They have collaborations with huge golf brands, like some of the top 3 golf brands, and they're just doing really, really cool things, and it's really easy to connect with them because of how similar they look like us. Maybe not you, Santi, but then that's the tricky thing too, is they're white guys.
Yeah.
And golf is gonna initially always be that white guy sport, but
it has traditionally been.
But I mean, at the end of the day, they are still 20-something-year-old males. So
yeah, so now it's younger demographic.
And not discrediting that it can only be for males. There are really popular female golf YouTubers. There's Gabby Golf Girl. There's like Fit Golf Girl. There's so and so. There's a bunch of really popular, famous girl YouTubers that are into golf.
He knows his stuff. He knows it.
Just the two. I don't really keep up with any women golfers too much. I feel like it's kind of weird if I keep up with them. But yeah. In conclusion, the game of golf is very different than how it was. Yeah. One of the big things that I wanted to mention too is how. No, I talked about how easy it is to return to.
When did you get into golf? Like, when did you start?
Oh man. So this is actually a funny story. So my buddy Riley got into golf. He is a good. I've known him at this point. How old was I? When I first met him, I was in kindergarten. And initially I knew his mom because at the school that I went to, his mom would take us kindergartners to like the lunch area. And it was like crossing the school campus. And you don't want to let kindergartners do that on their own. But so she would take us to the lunch. I think she was a volunteer or something. But that's how I knew him. And I did all of Cub Scouts with him. I did all of Boy Scouts with him. And, I'm still, me and him are still very good friends. He lives in Southern California and I'm up here. He's moving in with his girlfriend actually this weekend.
Nice.
She's a flight attendant for JetBlue. No, Allegiant. So they have to live semi close to LAX. So they're getting an apartment nearby. But he got me in, and he's been trying to get me into golf for like the better part of 8 years. And he told me to go out with him, and I'd go out with him here and there, but I didn't really care for it too much. And it was actually, was it in 22? I think it was in 23.
He got the golf fever, and he's also wearing kind of like a golf Disney shirt.
Yeah, vintage
golf Disney shirt.
I think I got into it on my own when I started working at the country club. Because when I started working there, I took it as the opportunity, like, hey, I have this opportunity here now to golf for free and golf regularly. Why don't I? So once I started working there in like August of 2023, within a few months, I started looking into getting clubs, and within a few months, I bought my own first set of clubs, and then I started going out and figuring it out on my own. And that's a good way too, because it's kind of like male therapy. When you go out and golf with your buddies, like you kind of. Believe it or not,
you have a lot of time to talk.
You do have time to talk, and like you're kind of in a deep mental space with these similar people where you can talk about things that you wouldn't naturally talk about. And I've had some good conversations with Riley about different things, but other outlets that golf can provide is like if you want to drink, which I don't drink when I golf. Like I'm too competitive. I feel like it takes the edge off for me. Or yeah, it does take the edge off, but like it takes me off of my game.
I feel like I would want to drink so I can blame alcohol for the lack of performance instead
really?
of myself. You know, why not?
Yeah, I do feel like the other thing too is like you were mentioning in the summer when it gets hot, it's really hard to maintain a buzz.
Yeah,
and then
you're dehydrated. Yeah,
and then you're dehydrated, and then it's hot, and then you're like, do I even want to be out here anymore? Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've just walked off a course for so many reasons, because whether it was the people in front of me are playing slow, or it's just way too hot, or I'm just not feeling it, because that's just how it is with me. It's like if I'm not feeling it at any point, I'll just leave. I don't care how much I paid, because it's like ridiculous. That's how competitive I am about it. Not that I'm that good. I have had a couple high notes, but I'm not exceptional or anything. For me, it's just a really fun.
I mean, it's a matter of time. Maybe when you're 80, then you'll
you'll
be one of those 80-year-olds that can
60.
Hit that
I guess
in a
60 more years.
Just wait 60 years. Yeah.
But
you're gonna be playing against AI bots.
Oh no! There's actually
you're gonna have like self-driving golf carts around the.
No, there already are those things.
Really? Self-driving golf carts?
So there's called push carts, which you put your clubs on and you just push that. But there's actually like these remote controlled carts that you put them on and they just follow you around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's already also like self-driving robots.
Yeah.
It's like, it's called to drive when you hit the golf ball with your driver.
Yeah.
They have these robots that like they can tune them to where they're hitting balls like over 300 yards. Wow. And it's perfectly straight.
I could see you too, like like in the future having those glasses that tell
VR
you.
goggles?
Yeah, that tell you.
Oh yeah, that's already out.
Bruh. Okay.
There's also, I don't know if you've heard of indoor simulators.
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah, so I have a membership at one of those. That's pretty cool because you go inside and now you're in like a room like this, and you're able to hit all of your clubs, all of your balls into like a net kind of.
Yeah.
And there's like little cameras and trackers that track the spin, the launch angle, the trajectory,
the
the
projection
club
of it.
speed, the ball speed, so many metrics that go into like the golf game are calculated in like a very small room. And like that makes golf even more accessible
good.
more accessible because it's like now you don't even have to go pay so much somewhere to play. Now you can go to this little room and play.
True.
100 courses, you know? So that's really, really cool. But yeah, I got into golf like almost 2 years ago. And it's just been a fun journey ever since. I played some pretty good courses. I played a couple times in San Francisco, really scenic playing there. It's super nice. A few times in Southern California. I played mostly here in Fresno because I've lived here ever since then. But yeah,
Good.
one day I'll take him out.
Golfing conversation. Yeah, I kind of want to golf now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go on Thursday with some friends. I have this one coworker. She likes to go a lot and hit, but I'm going to take out some other new friends. And that's kind of a fun thing for me is like, I like to
introducing new people
introducing new people into it. And it's what I love is like, oh, this is going to be so fun, so easy. And then they step up and they hit and they whiff. And I'm like, and I like to see how their first response is. They're like,
how they react.
And the first thing my always go to is like, phew, that went far. And they completely missed the ball.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I think I lost it.
Yeah, it went so fast that it's only.
And that's the thing is like people think it's really easy and they get into it and they try to hit the ball and it's like, oh, it's actually harder than I thought. And I'm like, okay.
It is.
And I tell them like, hey, let's slow it down. Don't take the club back all the way. Just try and move a little bit and hit it. You just get used to hitting it because it takes a while to like send the nukes that I know you've seen me hit send balls pretty far.
Yeah, I have.
But it's taken a while. It has taken years, literally.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But I'm also
the first time is always gonna be. I mean, for anything that you do that requires some sort of skill, the first time you're gonna feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then and then it gets better eventually.
But I'm also like a little bit more athletic than most people that I think traditionally get into golf because golf, like I said, it's very approachable. So even people that aren't super athletic can get into it and play. For me, it was very easy because I have good body control and feel to get into it and learn how to hit balls pretty well and stuff like that and understand the feel and all that. So it took me about a year to hit my balls straight, which seems like a long time. But once you realize how hard it is to hit a ball straight.
Once you try hitting one ball, you realize why. It takes a year.
Spin is a huge thing because like your body has like these natural positions that it's used to. And then you go make a swing and it's like, why did it go 50 yards right? It's like, oh, you hit the ball like that and it's going to spin right. That's going to happen. Yeah. That was my big struggle, which is the typical big struggle.
Interesting.
So that is all that I have today. I know I wanted to kind of take it easy today.
We did. We had a pretty chill episode. I know we've been talking about some serious stuff
as
lately.
Of late, yeah. And we have something more fun next week.
And serious.
But yeah. Anything you want to mention on golf?
I think everything I had to say about it, I have said it. I find that it's interesting how, again, it's becoming more broad and like broadly available in society for all kinds of different people. I feel like that's something that every sport needs.
Yeah.
It needs it needs a good variance of people.
The only hurdle for sure is like as an individual getting into golf, it does get expensive. Like my set was expensive. My bag was $250.
It's like backpacking.
My irons were like $350. My driver was like $220. My fairway, my 3-wood was, I think my 3 was only $100. My my hybrid was like $170.
How are they so expensive? Like it's a piece of metal. Is it like forged by like this Scottish
some of
gods
them
of
are.
golf or
Some
something?
of them are. There's a lot of technology that goes into them. My putter was like $252. What else? And then balls are just balls are an expense that will follow you forever because you're gonna lose balls, obviously.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And sometimes you just don't want to use the same ball because if it's used for too long, you'll get like scuffs or cracks. And it's even if you don't lose them, like it'll hit a rock and then it has a scrape and then it's gonna mess with the trajectory whenever you hit it.
It is, yeah.
So, and then I have a rangefinder that I got for Christmas, but I had bought. I've never paid for a rangefinder. I had people buy them for me multiple times. Shout out to Riley's mom. They bought me a really nice one for Christmas. What else? Gloves. Those are like $25-$30 every time you need a new one. Yeah. So it does get pretty expensive. So that's like nearing $1,000, but bought over the course of like 2 years. And at least I look like I know what I'm doing, even though I'm not the best. I go out there, they're like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And then they see me hit a ball, they're like, "Oh, he's just a regular guy."
Yeah, you have all the equipment and yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend you guys to, if you have the opportunity to go play golf, take it because it's very fun. It's very relaxing. As long as you're not like trying to get into it initially super hard, you'll always have a good time. You'll find that there are so many like-minded people in the sport of golf. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to hang out with each other secretly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we go and do.
Yeah, it's a
Secretly, I
social.
just want to hang out with my guy friends more. But I ask them, "Hey, do you want to go play golf?" And they're like, "Yes." But if I ask them, "Hey, do you want to hang out for 4 hours and talk?" They would say no.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Exactly.
they'd be like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, "Oh no, I'm busy." So, yeah, that's my thing.
That makes sense. Well, thank you guys for tuning into our
Hey,
golfing
what,
episode.
you don't have anything to add today? Your MMM?
Honestly, I haven't even been watching TV in general. I've been
guess-
watching. Actually, well, I have. I tuned into the fourth season. I think it's the fourth season of Outer Banks. But I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
It's not as entertaining anymore. I feel.
Yeah, I heard it got like really mystical and stuff, right?
It's not like it's mystical. It's just
superpowers or
as
something?
every season, the more you. It's really hard for any show to keep extending it and making new seasons and keep it as interesting as it was at first.
Yeah, especially if they don't. It's not good writing.
That happens to a lot of shows. Like I can
You should
probably tell
finish
you
it.
of a few shows that will stay like that will stay good throughout the duration of it, like Breaking Bad or Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
But a lot of other shows just don't have that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm just finishing it just because I've already started it. So like
I feel like a lot of good shows that typically do really well. It's because there's a lot of undertones that are commentary on certain things. So
Yeah.
like the big thing with Breaking Bad is the undertones that talk about the broken healthcare system in the U.S. and
Yes.
toxic masculinity.
Also, character development is huge if you
Yeah.
want to keep a show entertaining. That's a huge thing for
I
any
agree.
good show. It's seeing the deep character development. that
Seeing how
happens.
somebody that you like feel like you resonate with can change or improve the way that you want or don't
and
want.
that was the best thing about Breaking Bad. You see a whole transformation from like,
Yeah,
Walter White
how
to
toxic
Heisenberg.
masculinity is bad.
That too, yeah. But he's just pride. In his case, it was pride and
Yeah,
control,
which is toxic.
The desire to be in control.
He
But yes,
he
it
felt
is.
the need to be the provider for his family for so long.
But then, like that was just how it started, and now we're talking about Breaking Bad. But
Yeah.
the way it ends up is that his pride takes over the necessity to provide for the family. So now he was no longer in the business of providing for his family. He was in the business of becoming
good for
and, like,
himself,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Being a name and being the best.
Yeah,
like,
and that's why
meth
he
dealer in
mentioned at the end
world.
of the show, he's like, I didn't do it for family. I did it because
That's what he tells
I liked it. I
Skyler
was
White,
good at
yeah.
it.
He's
Yeah,
like,
so
because I liked it.
yeah.
Yeah, so good.
That's a good
man.
show.
It is.
My thing is, I wanted to mention. I know I've talked about the Marias again or already, but they actually released a new song. It's called. They released two, so I'm very excited because I'm going to see them in 2 weeks at Coachella.
Nice.
Yippee! I'm going to Coachella again.
Nice.
Going with some buddies, some coworkers. They released a song called "Back to Me," and nobody knew. And holy cow, really good songs. Always, they always slay, if you will.
Slay.
They always do a good job. Nobody knew is really really good. If you guys want to go support them, that's awesome. So yeah, but that is all that I have for today.
That is all we have for today.
Alrighty.
Again,
Well,
thank you for tuning into our golfing episode.
Yes, of course. Thank you guys. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes.
See you later. Bye.